Good morning. Today we are here with Mr. Jay Jefferies. Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Okay, I'm great, man. This is exciting.
Right.
Of course, it's finally, I've been talking to you for a while on the phone. I finally get the chance to meet you up close and personal, and this is wonderful.
Right.
Okay.
So to kick things off, I just want to ask you, what is your official title?
My official title?
Yeah.
I am the custodian, the window washer guy. No, I'm the chief meteorologist at WFXG Fox 54 in Augusta, Georgia.
And how long have you been in that role?
Ooh, well, I've been in that role for about 7 years.
Okay.
Before I was the morning meteorologist at that other station, you know, so
Yeah.
we won't even mention that one. But it's fun. I've been doing weather for quite some time, and I love my job. I oversee 4 other meteorologists in my department, making schedules, making sure we have severe weather coverage and stuff like this, and I report to 2 bosses that I have. It is for my news director and my general manager. And so I'm like third in line. So.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Okay.
So during that time, I know you have a number of accomplishments, including you being #1 in Augusta.
Ooh, who told you that?
I just heard it.
Okay.
#1 in Augusta, #2 in Georgia, and
Ooh.
number 48 in the country.
Boy, you got your statistics right, boy. Yeah.
So how does that make you feel?
That make you feel good because, you know, it's Mets. That's the short term for a meteorologist. It's Mets all over the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, to come in that high and especially be an African American, you know, even higher. So I feel good about it. I love Augusta. When I came here, I went like, Augusta, Georgia, you know? But this is my second home, so I'm loving it.
It's your second home? So
Yeah.
what's your first?
My first home is Cleveland, Ohio. You know,
Okay.
never forget where you come from.
Right.
You know, Cleveland, Ohio. The reason why I wanted to come to the South is because it's cold in Cleveland.
Yeah.
It gets snow. I used to walk in snow, and you probably heard the older generation say, yeah, I had to walk 20 miles uphill with no shoes on. No, I didn't do all that, but I did walk in like 3 feet of snow with boots and gloves and scarves. And my mother always, she used to put Vaseline on my face and then take a little hand and come to my head, you know, you're all ashy and stuff, because when you get cold,
Right.
you get ashy.
And how was the adjustment going from the cold to the heat?
Oh, I loved it. I prefer to be hot any day. When you're cold, you never can get warm.
Right.
Yeah, but other people disagree with me. They said they prefer to be cold because you can get warm. No, you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about your childhood, I just want to ask you, do you think how you grew up and where you grew up played a part in who you are today?
Yes and no. I think I had to leave home, Cleveland, Ohio, to get the experience of life. I think if I'd have stayed in Cleveland, I would accomplish a lot, but I think I accomplished more by leaving because at the age of 15, I was already had a show. It's called WJMO. There was the radio station, and I had a weekend show, so I was on the air on the weekends. So I had fun, but I branched from that and moved to the South, to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, originally in radio, and became a program director. So I think I grew once I left. But if it wasn't for Cleveland,
Right.
I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right.
Okay.
So I want to fast forward a little bit, and I want to step into your young adult years.
Okay.
What college did you go to?
Ooh, Cleveland State University. That's right there in Cleveland, Ohio. And then, unfortunately, you know, we didn't win the championship. You know, Ohio State. You know, going there. So, and I did what's called a Cuyahoga Community College. Cuyahoga is the county's name where I was born in. So I know it's kind of a hard name to say, so I took it out of my bio because a lot of people went like, okay, coming to the stage now, this guy is from I said, Cuyahoga, okay, you know. So,
And what was your major while you was there?
mass communication, mass comm. You know, I love communicating. You know, I love trying to make people, give them informed. I like to be wise of the community that you live in and stuff, and I like to just be around people.
Right.
Like you.
Thank you. So what was your inspirations? Well, I should say, who were your inspirations?
There was a guy, his name was Dick Goddard. He was the weatherman on Channel 8, and that's who I grew up with. And years ago, before you guys were even born, TV went off like midnight or something. He used to play the Star Spangled Banner, and then color bars went on. So we didn't have all the variety, all these 900 channels that we have now. And Dick Goddard was the weatherman. He used to come on, and I said, Mama, I want to be a weatherman. And she just looked at me. She said, fool, get in there and go to bed, you know. So it was a lot of fun. But he was my inspiration to get me going. And it was Rudy Green. He was a radio announcer and a program director, and he gave me my first job in radio. I used to cut grass for the radio station. And back then I used to practice cutting the grass, pretend I was on the radio. My name is Jay Jefferies, and you're listening to WJML, Cleveland Heights, Ohio. And he said, hey, you want a job? I go like, who, me? And I'm young, I'm 15 years old, cutting grass. I go like, yeah. Not knowing they needed somebody to run the audio board for church programs. So I used to call all my friends, hey, I'm getting ready to talk on the radio. Listen, listen. And they will all listen, but the only thing I was allowed to say was to give the call letters and the station ID. And then I had to wait another hour. So I called them back. I said, hey, did you hear me? And they said, when you going to talk? And I said, I did. I gave the call letter. I said, but that was you? Ugh, you know, and they wouldn't watch me anymore or listen to me anymore until I had my regular show on the weekends.
So when you got the radio job, was that when you realized that this is something that you really wanted to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I went from there, and I used to watch the older the disc jockeys back then. I used to go to live broadcast remotes. It was a place called Peaches and Herb Record Store, and they used to, every Saturday they used to come here and just broadcast. And I used to just stand there and just look and go like, man, I want to be on the radio. Man, they so cool. Not knowing they didn't make a lot of money, you know, but they had a lot of fun. And I used to think, and don't laugh at me, but I used to think that the groups were in the radio station performing. I didn't know it was records and stuff, you know, so I had a large imagination.
That's good.
You laughed at me.
I'm sorry. So now that we just got off the topic of your college life, I want to go back in a little bit. Did you join any like organizations or anything while you were in there?
I was in the DE program, Distributor Education. I was always in the 4-H club. I was into student council. You know, I did all that stuff when I was in school. My mother kept me very active. I don't have any brothers or sisters, so she made sure that I stayed active educational-wise. So we got a chance. Human relations, I was able to go to that. So, you know, I kept busy.
That's good. So when did you come to Augusta, Georgia?
Came to Augusta in November of 1994.
Was that a good decision for you?
I didn't even, here's the thing, I didn't apply for the job. I didn't even know that the area existed, you know, because I didn't know much. And I got a call, and they said, hey, we're looking for a meteorologist for our morning and midday show, and reached out to you. We'd like to fly you in for an interview. And I go like, where are you located? Excuse me. And she said, we're in North Augusta, South Carolina. That didn't make any sense to me. North Augusta, South Carolina. Well, what's the street address? 1301 Georgia Avenue. Oh, come on now. You know, wait a minute. But it was all true. It was a WRDW, a CBS affiliate in North Augusta. So it was really true. But I was on the tape of another lady that I worked with at the station. She was applying for the job, but I happened to be on her tape because she had to do the weather portion of it, so she had me just to sit in during that time. So that's how I got here, by accident. By accident.
Wow.
You know,
did you think that you would be where you are back then?
No. No, I was nervous. They used to call me, but not laugh. I'm giving you so much information here.
That's what we like.
They used to call me Ping Pong Eyes.
Oh.
You laugh. Because when I was on the air, they said, okay, stand by, weather. You have 3 minutes, and I used to be like this, you know, because I was so nervous because I was watching the camera guys and the ladies and the teleprompter. They were all walking around and doing stuff. So I was trying to see what they was doing instead of worrying about what I was supposed to be doing. So they say, "Hey, ping pong eyes, you up?" You know, so I was very nervous, very nervous. Are you nervous?
No.
Okay.
You believe me?
No.
Okay. So, aside from that, what are your other hobbies aside from your job?
Ooh, man, I do a few things. Um, um, I'm a embalmer, so I work with families, prepare the final remains of the loved ones. Also played drums for a lot of groups. Let's see, I like weather. Um, I like the PR. I like to get into media and editing and filming videos and stuff. I like what you like to do. Like, you know. So I like all that. I like to stay busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the groups that you drum for?
I play for a lot of them out there, you know. She's trying to get me to talk. She's working real hard. Okay. I'll give it to you before we end our interview.
Moving on. How has your career affected your family?
Ooh, highly, because my daughter, she'll be 22 years old this year, and she likes to be in the light. She's a social media guru. My son is very quiet. He's kind of like I am. But they said I put pressure on him because we're in the public all the time.
Right.
And everybody watches you. So it's not what you do, it's who's seeing you do what you do. So think about that. So you have to be on your A game all the time. So it's just like an artist. When they don't want to be bothered, they don't go out in the public. That's why they buy these $1 million homes, and so they have entertainment systems and stuff all through the house. I don't have that kind of money. You know, our swimming pool is something that I bought from Walmart. We all put our little feet in it and kick it, you know, and then we inflate it, you know, and then put it up for the winter.
Okay, and they support your career fully?
Yes, they do. My daughter, she try to go in a little bit. She loves to play music. She plays about 5 different instruments. I played high school basketball, swimming, and track in high school. My son is on track and soccer. So I guess they get that from me a little bit, you know, and their mother too.
Oh, okay. So we know, well, I know, I've been doing some research, and I know that in 2013, you had a health issue, and I just want to let you clear up what that was.
I hope I say the word right, but I had an infection on my heart valve, endocarditis. I think that's the name of it. I may be missing a couple syllables there for it, but it's when your heart valve, your top heart valve is infected and it does not open and close correctly. They found it by accident. They took some blood cultures and they found out I had an infection on that. So they replaced that. So my heart was okay, but it was growing in size. And my heart, right before they caught it, and I'm very blessed and grateful that they were able to replace it. So I have an artificial heart valve, and it's working fine. It's coming up on, 10 years now? So they say that my valve will outlive me, so hopefully everything is okay. But that was the reason. My heart was okay, but it was being destroyed because the blood was just sitting there, so your heart starts growing and getting larger.
And while you were off the air for those 6 months, I know people in the city were asking where in Augusta is Jay Jefferies.
Boy,
So how did that make you feel, knowing that the city really liked you that much?
I cried. I was like, they really like me, you know. And I was off 6 months. That is hard. I went to 4 different hospitals. So I did not see my home for 6 months. I was in the hospital the whole time. That's when my son was small. He couldn't even come up and see me in the hospital because he was underage. They snuck my daughter up because she was a little bit taller for her age, so she was able to sneak in from time to time, and I would look at them. So I missed 6 months of them growing up and everything. So I don't take any day unlikely. You know, I blessed on every single day. But the city, I went like, man, this is so cool. So in return, I said, I got to be the best I can be.
Right.
And so that's where I am now.
And in those 6 months, you still maintain to be number one.
Boy, yes, I did. Yeah, they voted for me. You know,
Dang.
even if I was off of the air. I don't know, by me being sick made more people think about my name and who I was, or they really just cared and stuff. So I went like, okay, I'll do my best and try to stay number one. And I think I've been number one ever since. So
That
I
is
think that's a
great.
pretty good record.
And I know that you said that you wanted to do the best, to be the best meteorologist that you can be. But is there any advice that you would like to give to any of the younger boys and girls who are looking up to you?
Whatever you choose to do, whatever you choose to do, be the best at it. My mother told me, and I didn't understand. She said, always have a plan A and a plan B, because eventually your plan A turns into plan B. Nothing in life is guaranteed but the end of it. If you make it into this world, you're going to die one day.
Right.
So just be the best you can be, whatever it is. And if you don't succeed the first time, never give up. Keep striving to be the best.
Okay. Thank you. That's all the questions that I have for you today.
We made it. Okay, playing for various groups across the area. Yeah, I'm not going to let you down, okay? Yeah,
Thanks.
so groups like the OJ's, New Edition, the Das Band, Kinsman Das, let's see, and one more, but you wouldn't know anything about them, so. And of course, by going to school, I also went to school with my good buddy. Arsenio Hall, I don't talk to him too much, just now and then, and also Steve Harvey. And try to keep in contact with them. When we get together, you know, we just have a good old time. But you never know who's you're gonna graduate with and what they're gonna become. Because Steve, at one time, I do remember one of our teachers says, you will never amount to nothing and you will never be on television. Do you know every year Steve gives her a television set with the note, I'm on TV, watch me. Every year he does that for a teacher.
Wow. And you didn't think that they would be where they are today?
I did, because Steve was crazy. You know, he was crazy. I didn't think I was going to be, but I never gave up because he was kind of like my inspiration. I'm not so much wanted to be like him, but I wanted his drive.
Right.
His drive was he never gave up. Steve was rough. We didn't have, like I said, didn't have any brothers and sisters, but we didn't have any money. You know, and when he was out on his own, he used to sleep in his car. He didn't have enough money to go to hotels. He used to come here to Augusta, Georgia. We had a place called the Comedy House. He would sleep in his car and go inside and use the bathroom to get ready for the show. So he didn't have enough money. So that's how he made it. So we appreciate everything we get today.
Thank you. And I appreciate you for coming out here to do
Anytime.
this interview.
All righty.
But I got the governor's, not the governor's, I did the governor's awards. Did you know that? For excellence in the arts. See, you don't know everything. Do you? But anyway, no, we got that back in the day, though. That was 1984. You weren't
Before
born.
my time, yes.
Yeah.